Today I am going to share with you a few tips and tricks that I have been using to save money on groceries and to make my life a little bit less stressful at home. First thing I'm going to do is get a bunch of these chicken breasts chopped up and marinated. I love to use this marinade recipe. It's on the blog at farmhouseharvest.net, but it is coconut aminos, which works well, the enzymes in it, to help tenderize the meat, with brown sugar and garlic, salt, and pepper. That's it. It's super easy and delicious. So I'm going to marinate like 3 bags of this, keep it in the refrigerator. It's for grilling, but tonight I'm actually going to bake it because I don't feel like grilling. It's really nice to have these bags of marinated chicken in the refrigerator ready to go. You can keep them in there for up to a week, and you have got some really flavorful chicken that you can either throw on the grill or, like I'm doing tonight, just bake it. I have also done this with the big pork loins that you buy at the store for like 10 or 20 bucks. I think our Mart has it. You can get them for like $10. At Costco, you can get them on sale for about $10 when they are on sale. It's a lot of meat, and it's kind of like chicken, a little bit tougher, but it marinates just like chicken and has the same flavor profile. It's got a lighter flavor, so when you marinate it, this marinade goes really good with that pork loin. I've chopped it into pork chops, and I've also just chopped it into small chunks with this marinade, and it is delicious. Summer times are always busy. We've got so much going on with cousins and family members and everyone coming over that it's just nice to be able to have meat that's already seasoned and marinated and ready to go in the refrigerator for any last minute meals. And this tastes delicious on its own, or you can do as I'm going to show you tonight and use it with rice and vegetables. Those are 2 things that I love to have on hand. They store forever is rice. Rice stores forever, and it just is the perfect accompaniment to almost any meal, especially when you're eating from the garden, which I really try to do during the summertime. It saves me a lot of money on produce, and it's healthy organic food that my family actually loves. If I was to buy at the grocery store cabbage, zucchini, summer squash, onions, my kids probably would not be too excited about eating it. But when they see it growing in the garden and they're watching it and excited about picking it and harvesting it, telling me every day, oh, the cabbage is getting bigger. Oh, I saw a zucchini on there. It's as big as your head. They're super excited about it, and they want to eat it, and they actually enjoy it. So highly recommend growing a garden for multiple reasons. I'm just going to do a quick cleanup while this chicken is marinating, and I want to show you guys a trick that I thought of the other day. We've got lots of kids running around the house, and it's also fly season, so kids are coming in and out, and we have 2 covered porches, one on the front, one on the back, and they just seem to attract flies. So our garage door always is a spring door. It always has springs on the hinges, so it shuts automatically, and that's like a fire code around here. So I thought, I want my husband to put those on the front and back door so that they automatically close, and I'm not just getting irritated all the time asking kids to close the doors. Last year, I was always just kind of yelling at everyone to shut the door, and I don't want to be that mom this year, so I asked my husband to put those spring hinges on the front and back door, and I am so excited, and honestly, I am loving it. You can buy these spring hinges at Home Depot. They cost $20 a piece, and you need 2 of them for each door, and all you do is replace them with the regular hinges that are on there. Just replace them with the spring hinges, and then you have to set the spring. So grateful for my husband, who is very handy and knows how to do all these things and is so sweet to do them for me. I'm just showing you as he's setting this spring. He has to twist it with an Allen wrench and then it comes with a little piece of metal that you stick into a hole to hold the spring in place. So you tighten that spring up, and then the tension on the springs automatically closes the door when people open it. Honestly, this has been a game changer around our house. We have so many people going in and out all day long in the summertime, and the flies come in and out. Well, they just come in, they don't go out. But this is great. The door just shuts automatically when people open it. All right, moving back into the kitchen. I always oil my my cutting boards. I probably do it like twice a year, and I honestly just use an oil that I have around the house for cooking because it's a healthy oil, and it just soaks into the wood and makes them look much more beautiful than they would if they're bleached out and dry. I don't know if there is a special type of oil you're supposed to oil your cutting boards with. There probably is. If you know, let me know in the comments below. But I am just using olive oil today. I have also used coconut oil, and really, I do like the coconut oil. I've got butcher block in my pantry that I oil my butcher block with, that coconut oil, but olive oil works great too. It just gives this wood a really beautiful dark color and life back to it. So back to its original beauty. And then I'll just put these back on the counter where I keep them, and I love the way they look. This is my little corner of the kitchen that I like to keep pretty. I've got a little crock there with some of my rolling pins and wooden kitchen utensils that I use all the time. I usually keep a basket of eggs there, and then my big mixing bowls. They're super heavy, and I just think they're beautiful, so I like to keep them on the counter over here. All right, let's go out to the garden. I am going to take you along as we pick what is coming out of the garden. Right now, it's the end of June. To go into our garden, you go through these two really pretty plum trees. Then I've got a lot of vegetables planted in my raised bed garden this year, along with several strawberry boxes. Last year, I grew a ton of zucchini on accident and summer squash, so we were really overflowing with an abundance. So this year, I only planted 2 summer squash plants, 1 zucchini plant. Oh no, that's not true. I've got like 4 button squash plants, but I do only have 1 zucchini plant this year and 1 yellow squash plant this year. And that seems to be plenty for our family. Zucchini and yellow squash, kids don't really like them, but when they're watching them grow and looking forward to picking them and harvesting them, they actually eat them and try them, and they are delicious. And my 3-year-old was eating them sauteed with garlic, salt, pepper, butter, and loved them. I'm also growing a bunch of cabbage this year, and they are getting big enough to pick and harvest. And I was not a huge cabbage fan until about 5 years ago. But if you like seafood, oriental food, stir fries, cabbage is delicious. My mom used to cook it all the time with potatoes and beef, but I really like it in stir fry. And that's the type of dinner that I'm going to be making tonight as I cook from the garden. So I'm also picking about 6 or 7 big leaves of this kale that I've got growing next to the cabbage. Kale always does really good here in Zone 6B. And before I actually start cutting this up, I'm going to give everything a really good wash, because we grow it in the dirt. We grow everything in the dirt. Chickens get out every once in a while. Birds do poop on things. So when you're growing a garden, you've got to clean it all. There's parasites, and there's lots of good stuff that you want to wash off. I always try to get dinner going when I'm cooking from the garden. It's usually June, July, and August. September, we've got lots of good produce coming out of our garden, and I usually try to get something going with that for dinner, using that as our produce, so I don't have to run to the grocery store and get other things. I didn't get it on video, but I also did pull an onion out, and I am using that onion even though it's not cured or anything. It's still delicious. But I try to get things going so that my family knows that I'm making something for dinner, and they don't ask to go to a restaurant or go to get pizza. And I didn't think that they noticed, but they did. My husband's like, yeah, when our garden starts growing, you just stop going to the grocery store. And honestly, it's true. I try not to buy as much from the grocery store, and I really try to use what we have coming out of the garden, because it's healthy, it's organic, it's free. Not free, because we put it in and we either bought starts or started the seeds ourselves, so they're not actually free, but the cost is very low. I probably spent like $100 on seeds and starts for this garden. this year, and that's the cost of about one bag of groceries these days. And I'll still be buying other things from the grocery store, things that I'm not growing. I don't grow everything. I did plant carrots and beets this year, and tomatoes and tomatillos and peppers, which are not in my raised bed gardens. They're behind my garden shed. So I did grow a bigger garden this year, but I have been buying cherries, and I will really enjoy the farmer's market when it opens up. They always have excellent fruit and corn and potatoes. I am growing some potatoes, but they just grow a ton of things at the farmer's market that I really enjoy. But I really try to just shop from my garden and the farmer's market for our main food sources throughout the summer. And then, of course, I've got the freezer full of meats from the butcher and some local ranchers. So I've got all of that, and it really does help to reduce our food bill a lot in the summertime. Every time I go to the grocery store nowadays, I spend at least $250 on groceries, and that's a once a week. So we're at about $1,000 a month, and that's just the cost of groceries these days. But in the summertime, that cost is reduced by at least half by just using all the produce from my garden. And then we've got produce coming that people give us when they have extra cherries on their tree or extra produce. So it's really great to be able to enjoy all of that in the summer and cut down on your grocery bills. Okay, so this chicken was marinating, and I am going to use that marinade. I put it in a small saucepan and just let it simmer over low heat until it thickens like honey. And this is going to be a delicious glaze that I'm going to use over the chicken and vegetables. Whenever I'm using kale, I like to put it in last because I don't like to cook it until it's kind of a ugly green. I like it to just be a really bright, beautiful green color. So tonight I'm kind of recreating a cup bop bowl, but I'm not using the noodles, I'm just using rice. If you've been to cup bop, it's really fun. It's kind of a Korean food. It's just vegetables, rice and noodles, and meat. And then they top that with a bunch of really yummy sauces. So I'm using that marinade sauce that I simmered down, and a sauce that I use on my salad dressing actually, for the tops of these bowls with some sesame seeds. And I will link all of these recipes in the description box below if you want to try them. But I'm going to go ahead and slice up this chicken. So in my bowls, I'm going to put about a half a cup to a cup of rice, top that with chicken, top that with these sauteed vegetables, drizzle this marinade drizzle over the top of that, and then my dressing. This dressing is super easy. It's just mayonnaise, vinegar, sugar, salt, and pepper, and it just really gives it a nice little contrast in flavors. You could spice it up with some red pepper flakes if you wanted to add heat to it. But this is just a very simple garden fresh dinner that you can make really with whatever vegetables you're growing in your garden. Chop them up really thin, saute them, stir fry them, cook up a little bit of meat and some rice, and then get some flavor drizzles on there with your sesame seeds, and it makes a really quick, easy, delicious dinner that's fresh and healthy. Kids love it, and it will save you a ton of money on your groceries if you can be eating from your garden like this. Let me know what you guys are doing to save money on groceries these days, and what you're growing in your gardens and what you're making for dinner that's easy this summer. I hope that this video gave you a little bit of inspiration to be able to save money on groceries and make life a little bit easier as a mom this summer with marinating your chicken and putting the spring hinges on your doors so that they automatically close and keep the flies out. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. Please give me a like, a share, a comment if you like this type of content, and we'll see you next time.